Alright, welcome to round 11 of the FRL Division 2 Championship. Here we are at Belgium Spa for what is going to be a pretty exciting race, albeit I have a feeling Arrow's gonna completely dominate because he was setting just incredible times. He set a 42.9 to take pole position. And in the Division 1 race, he was putting over a second a lap on the rest of the field. Just completely unstoppable. But anything can happen in this race. Oh, including Zeech spinning out. That definitely messed up his tires a little bit, but thankfully they're hards. Speaking of tires, let's take a look at the strategies. It's medium tire runners for the most part, with a few hard runners, being Arrows, Zeech, DK, Phil, David Atmos, with one exception on the soft tires, Sancho going for an aggressive strategy option. Of course, if you want it to pay off, he's going to need to make up a lot of positions in a short span of time. Now, he could go for a two-stopper, or he could just simply go for a one-stopper from soft to hard, but he'll be suffering from more wear compared to those who would run a medium-hard strategy instead. So again, it's all about how aggressive he can be off the start and how many positions he can gain. Joining me in the commentary box today is going to be a driver who's had a lot of experience fighting and leading races, including leading a championship in Division 1 at the moment. It's going to be Max. So Max, what do you make of this track?
This track's a tough one, but a really fun one and rewarding one when you get it right. I'm going to see a real mix of strategies and setups. You're going to see some guys really quick down the straights, and those guys are also going to be lacking in Sector 2 where they need that downforce. So, yeah, just expect to see that kind of thing going on where somebody gets real close and it's just a tug of war. So again, like always, ERS management is a big factor here, and those guys who are quicker down the straight with carrying less downforce, they're obviously going to be able to carry more speed as well as save a little bit more ERS. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Indeed. Now, the run into turn 1 can be a little bit scary. If you wonder why, just ask Fernando Alonso back in 2018. But overtaking can also be, well, depending on the situation, incredibly easy or incredibly difficult. If you want to know, just ask Sebastian Vettel in 2018. But anyways, we have everybody getting ready to go. Also, you could ask Max Verstappen just a few weeks ago about it, where he literally put everybody on 0 AI to get started on that race. But we're going to be getting started in this one momentarily. Here we go, 5 red lights coming on here in Belgium. And it is lights out and away we go. Looks like Kermit got a great start. He's immediately jumping up into 4th, 3rd, maybe even 2nd place going into turn 1. But Arrows makes a decent getaway. And, oh, that's a bit of a collision there between 3 drivers, but Kermit's jumped up into 3rd, Kirito into 4th, the 2 McLarens dueling. Are they really about to go side by side? Nope, they back out. But that is no limit immediately on the heels of Kirito, but Kirito's going to continue his run. But that is
contact! Radioactive!
Radioactive has lost a lot of speed, and I think he may... Yep, he's lost a front wing as well. That's going to be a massive loss for him. But we have 3 wide going into this turn. Oh, that ended badly. And that's a that's just a multi-car collision there. And that was Night Marcher rejoining dangerously. Both Avataris are taken out. Well, they...
Yeah, 3 wide, that was never going to happen. The Red Bulls ended up collecting each other as well. Just... Yeah, not what you want to see. The Red Bulls have caused some bad luck lately, and there's a little bit more. But 3 wide, that was pretty sketchy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call a move like that reckless, but I mean, we very clearly did see a massive wreck, so I can't really say that. But that was unfortunate. I mean, there are some turns where you can get away with 2 wide, but there are very few where you could do 3. Turn 5 is not one of them.
Yeah, not at all. That's not where you do it. You can take the outside, go around the outside, and have the inside for the next, but it's really tricky. It's going 2 wide. Oh, there's a spin from the Williams. Who's that?
It's Dan.
It's Dan.
Yeah, I've had personal experience spinning there. I don't know how, but I pulled a 360, did not damage the car, and managed to keep going. I still don't know how I pulled that off. I got a little bit lucky there. Unfortunately, Dan did not get as lucky as I did.
Yeti with a beautiful double overtake around the outside and that fast left, and then sending it down the inside at the bus stop chicane. That's 2 positions. Yeti up in a P9.
Yep, he's continuing
Lovely,
his
lovely
charge
stuff.
towards the front, and that's Kermit going to the pits. Dan is staying out, but hang on a second. Didn't one of the Red Bulls get wing damage? Apparently not. They're both staying out. But I have a feeling after those collisions, they may have gotten some damage, like rear wing. Oh, well,
Atmos.
Atmos certainly got damage because he's completely out of the race. Looks like he crashed around Urush, but no safety car is being triggered. Well, let's see where his car is. Oh, he's completely off the track. Yeah, that's not going to be a safety car.
We're going to want to keep an eye on Pritt in this race. Pritt showed some tremendous pace in the Div 1 race yesterday. He's on mediums right now, chasing down DK and breathing down the gearbox of that McLaren. It's only a matter of time before he gets by, it seems, and then he'll have Zeech in front for company.
Yep,
Pritt with some solid pace.
Yeah, he does have the tire advantage as well. The two cars in front of him are on that hard set, but he's still on mediums, and they're going to be burning very nicely for at least the next 10 laps. So he should be good to go for a little while. Atmos fortunately won't because he's now out, but his teammate, meanwhile, is holding on to second place, but could be challenged by No Limit soon.
And No Limit all over the back of Kirito as well. And Arrows building nearly a 2-second gap on the harder tires.
Oh, Phil loses the car, but he loses his... Oh, that's unfortunate. His front wing is completely gone. He wrecked in nearly the exact same spot as Dan. Oh, that's completely ruined him because he just went in for... Well, no, he didn't go in at all, but he's going to have to go in now. And Arrow sets the fastest lap of the race, and it's just, again, pulling a massive gap.
Yeah, no surprise there. Kirito is keeping it within 2 seconds, but that, I mean, oh, look at that. Yeah, he's down to just a second and a half now. I'm sure Kirito's burning a little bit of ERS, but
well,
yeah, the pace from Arrows is just, it's absurd.
Right. It's not just that, though. From what I've heard, Arrow's running a more heavy downforce setup.
Pritt on the grass, he gets around DK. DK's gonna fight this back down the inside. No, he's not. Pritt gets by on the grass. That looked like Alex Albon back in 2019 or 2020, was it? What a move.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, you know, Alex is so proud of that move. He wrote a poem about it. So, you know, yeah, that was a brilliant move. And honestly, like 2019 for Alex was a great year here in Belgium. That is, starting what from the pit lane or something, and then getting up to P5. Only a drive for him, but the two Alpines are certainly putting a performance up to that scratch. With both of them just cutting through the field as best they can right now.
You know, I'm really surprised that Kirito's able to keep with Arrows. You can see how much Arrows gains to that middle sector, and that's where he was really strong yesterday as well. And then when it comes to the high-speed stuff and down the straights, Kirito just claws back about 4/10.
Indeed, but speaking of clawing back, Ted's No Limit is really closing the gap. I think he could very well go for a dive by the end of this quarter. He's looking around the outside, going to the chicane. He's going to brake as late as he possibly can, but Kirito brakes even later than him and keeps himself ahead. No Limit, though, is going to have DRS, and that's going to give him a massive hand. He could potentially try a dive into turn one, but he's too far back.
Yeah, we've seen Kirito with some controversial moments early in the season, especially with Kermit, but Kirito defends and places his car absolutely beautifully there. But here we go, No Limit's going to get a run up Air Rouge and Radeon, and you can see he's already all over the back of that Ferrari, nearly making contact, and he's going to be able to send it around the outside. Will he have the straight line speed? Kirito is going to be fighting this all the way back down to the chicane, but No Limit has the superior speed with the DRS wide open, and that is job done.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move for No Limit, just keeping it as close as he possibly could without a collision. Meanwhile, looks like Yeti managed to complete the move on Rogue. He's up in the 7th place and is continuing his charge towards the front.
Yeah, good stuff from both of them there. Alpine's working their way up the field. No Limits, great pace from him. I was really surprised by Kirito's pace, but we'll see what No Limit's got, and if he's able to close the gap to Arrows up front on those hards.
I mean, one thing's for sure, Arrows has the advantage in Sector 2, but seemingly not as much as we thought, because No Limit is matching him for the most part, but now he's starting to lose time. Yeah, again, it's a straight line speed. Because Arrows is running a more high downforce setup for everybody else, he's losing out a whole lot on the main straight, but Sector 2 is letting him gain so much that it not only negates it, but puts him at more of an advantage.
You know, credit where it's due. I mean, when you run high downforce like that on a more low downforce track, you're really taking a risk. But that just goes to show the amount of confidence he has in himself and in his setup that he can nail that middle sector and is far away enough down the straights that he's not going to be really even caught up to or overtaken. So eh, that just goes to show the quality of driving from BRT Arrows. He's going to be tough to beat here today.
I mean, if anyone can come close to beating him, I genuinely think he's going to be practically unstoppable unless he makes a disastrous mistake. No Limit, though, is putting in one heck of an effort, though.
God, look how much he gains.
He's gaining so much speed here. He's able to keep up, and it's even getting a little bit of a toe. And he's actually managed to gap Kirito enough that Kirito, despite getting DRS, is nearly out of DRS range. Meanwhile, that is getting past Sancho as he makes his way into the pits, but is coming out now on a set of medium tires.
There it is. So it was down 1.3 seconds, and then now it's back up to 1.8. You can just see how much downforce Arrows is carrying, and he's able to just nail in those mini sector times. No Limit, though, is doing a decent enough job to stay with him. Hopefully going to be able to cast slipstream, and Kirito's 7/10 behind, keeping with No Limit as well.
Meanwhile, we are looking at Fred. He is doing his best to get closer, but at the moment, it's keeping relatively even with Zeech in front of him. The two seem to be mostly even on pace, but if Fred could get just a few more tenths, he could get within DRS range and join the three cars in front of him in a battle for second place. But you can see Arrows has pulled even more of a gap. Every single time, he gains just a couple more tenths in that sector too, and that's allowing him to gain more time little by little.
Absolutely. Keep it on this little battle going on for 11th as well. Phil's on those softs, and he's caught up to Kermit back there. He was thinking about a move around the outside, but Kermit defends well, parking it on the apex, and they might carry this one for another lap or two. Kirito a lot closer to No Limit as well.
I think he could very well attempt a move here, but No Limit is powerful in that straight line. The question is, well, actually Kirito has practically no ERS left, while No Limit still has plenty, at nearly 50%. Kirito's going to do his best, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get alongside. No, he won't. He's going to remain behind. He's just burned through everything way too quickly for his own good, and No Limit with the superior ERS management is going to have the advantage here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how important it is to manage your ERS. And Phil sent one down the inside on Kermit. Kermit defended well once again, and then Phil gets really loose on the exit, nearly going into the wall. That really could have been a safety car.
Oh, that's Yeti getting a time penalty. That is going to hurt him heavily because Rogue is still right behind and in DRS range.
Safety cars are likely here as well, so if the pack gets a little bunched up, that's going to cost them big time. Who is that? Radioactive caught a penalty as well. Zeech, all the while we're talking about Kirito No Limit and keeping with Arrows and the fight for 11th. Zeech is, well, quietly within 6/10 of Kirito now.
Yeah, he's actually starting to even close the gap a little bit more here and there. And I think now it's where the hard tires are going to start to really get into a good groove. While the mediums, while not completely dying out just yet, they are going to be suffering some.
Ooh, big loss of the rear from No Limit. Kirito might send one down the inside. He's already passed. Before the corner, is Zeech going to have a look? No look from Zeech. He's a little bit too far back.
But No Limit still has plenty of ERS, and he could very well challenge. You can see just how close he is behind the Ferrari, nearly touching the rear end of him, but he stays just behind, but not anymore. He's looking to put himself alongside, and now ahead, just surging past the Ferrari up into second.
Oh my god, here comes Zeech!
Zeech is going to send it on the inside going into turn 5. Can he put himself ahead of the Ferrari? He does for a moment and manages to complete the move. A fantastic overtake by Zeech.
Zeech with some tremendous straight line speed. I was looking in the mirrors, or the rear view cam of Kirito, and I could just see Zeech rapidly approaching. It was only a matter of time, and he got it done. Well done to Zeech. He's one of those guys who must be running a low downforce setup here because he was absolutely flying.
Meanwhile, in 9th and 10th, the two Williams are about to have a battle, but not for long, as Sancho just immediately overtakes his teammate, taking advantage of the fresher medium tires. up in ninth place.
Yep. Maybe a little bit of team orders there. No point in fighting that one.
Yeah, the field is honestly quite spread. The only thing that could really bring an equalizer to everything is a safety car, which I imagine the two AlphaTauri drivers are begging for, as well as the two Red Bulls, because they're just stuck all the way towards the back.
You're gonna jinx it.
Commentator's curse, yep.
You're gonna jinx it.
Probably. I mean, I do remember distinctively at Monza last week where I said, if a safety car occurred, it could give that two Haas drivers an advantage, and then a second later, I just see
Bingo.
Wolfer has retired from the session, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
well, there it is. That's the monkey's paw curling right there.
I was just as surprised as everyone else at that moment. Trust me, when I saw Wolfers retired, I couldn't believe it. Zeech is already within 4/10 of no limit up front, and an overtake is pretty much inevitable at this point, as he's already rapidly gaining before the DRS zone. No limit's carrying some very good straight line speed though as well, and I think he's going to be able to defend, weaving down the straight, trying to break that slipstream, and he's going to go ahead and stay ahead.
Yep, No Limit is, once again, just managing his DRS really well. He still has more than Siege, though Siege still has a decent amount, about 30% in total, but Kirito, he's starting to build up a little bit more energy. What I think he's going to do is bide his time, build up some energy before going on the attack once again.
Keep an eye on Kirito out of, what is it, turn 7, 8? Where he's just really extending there, and he's somehow able to get away with it without a penalty.
I mean, to be fair, if you know the track limit loopholes around a track, it will give you that much more of an advantage. Actually, I think we have... Well, never mind, we have Sancho out. It may be a safety car. Well, there
it is. There it is.
Well, looks like I jinxed it after all.
Oh, shoot, Rogue as well.
And, oh, I was going to say, like, also Atmos, but never mind. He beat us a little while ago. I'm just sorry about that. But,
What's
yeah,
happened to Rogue?
I have no idea. I think he just lost it on his own. Actually, where Rogue crashed, if you look at the mini-map, that's where there was a massive pile-up last season. Like, a massive pile-up. It was like 7 or 8 cars. But, well, it's lap 8. It's a perfect opportunity for all the medium runners to go in for a set of hard tires, and they'll be able to make it to the end no problem. Kermit and Radioactive, I can only imagine just some incredible feeling that they have, because now they can actually get back in the race.
Arrows on sauce. That's interesting.
That is an aggressive option. I mean, because he's inevitably going to have to pit again. But we saw the guy that he was able to pull on the slowest tire, so I don't know what the game plan is here.
This is interesting because we know Zeech. This is what I was talking about earlier. So we know that Zeech is on 8-lap old hards, right? Arrows is on fresh softs. The pace advantage is going to be ridiculous, especially with Arrows carrying more downforce. But Zeech is so quick in a straight line, and this track is so tricky to overtake if you're not overtaking either down the main straight after Radeon or down the back straight. So I'm just wondering where BRT is going to be able to get by at this point. BRT, he's down in 6th. What just happened?
Wait, did he spin? There's no way he spun, right? He slowed down a lot. Maybe he went off the track? He's down into 6th now. Okay.
Is he playing last and first challenge?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking either he's making mistakes now, or he's doing this intentionally to give himself a challenge. I mean, and if so, this is just absolutely disrespectful to the rest of the field. Yeah, he's actually... look, he's put himself behind everybody else.
I think that was a mistake. I don't think he'd do that on purpose. I'm just really curious as to find out as to what happened.
I mean, we'll see in a moment. Maybe he will go off track and let by Yeti. I mean, I guess we'll see if that is actually part of the plan for him. He may have just made a mistake.
Well, that's a little frustrating. I wanted to see what was going to happen between him and Zeech.
Well,
because if Zeech could defend well throughout the second sector, where you know, Arrows is quick, we could have quite a good fight for the lead up until, you know, Zeech's pit window. But here we go. And he's down in 6th now on fresh softs, and he's gonna have some time to make up.
Yep, and while those softs, there's no way they'll make it to the end. So he's
They're
gonna
not
have
going
to
to make it
finish.
to the end. You got to think everybody in front of him is going to the end of this race besides Zeech, so he's banking on another safety car.
Or okay, he's gonna go for a soft strategy. Just go for a
Yeah.
hyper aggressive one. If he adds an extra set, he could very well go for that, and it's very
Well, that's
doable.
exactly what he's going to have to do at this point. That's exactly the case. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to get a free stop under safety car, or if he's going to have to blow his way by everybody and then do it again at the end of the race.
Of course, the problem is, he's gonna have to overtake everybody, and well, the more he does that, the more
Twice.
he's gonna burn up his tires. So
Yeah.
he's gonna have to do this very carefully.
It's going to get real weird. It's going to be a good one though. I'm looking forward to it because he's got some really good pace.
Yeah, he does. But I will say this, Zeech is still going to have a hard time because he's got No Limit, Kirito, and Fred behind him. And all of them were shown to have relatively even, if not potentially faster pace than Zeech, although Zeech was certainly holding his own. But he won't be holding his own as much due to the fact that his tires are quite a bit older. Not enough to be, like, severe, but still, it will make a difference.
8 laps older. That a different top deck is high here. The yards are a pretty damn good race tire, and they can go quite a bit of laps. But that eight lap advantage that these guys up behind have is it's going to be pretty tough to overcome.
Indeed, we're just waiting on Curly to catch up, and the safety car should be able to get back underway. Though Curly can't catch up in time, it may announce to go without it, but usually it's about now where the announced safety car is going to go in. But we could still have a late call if Curly can catch up in time. Now, one thing that I am... Oh, is the car planning to go in? It is pulling up a little bit further ahead. No, we are going to have another lap of it. Well, I was about to
I'm
say...
gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, one thing that I am curious about, though, is that thus far, the league is planning to run another draft at the end of this season for the new season. And so we're going to see a lot of drivers get switched around. Two switches that I think at this point are going to be set in stone is that Alpine is going to be losing both their Division 2 drivers because they're both inevitably going to get promoted up to Division 1. I mean, they've both shown that they've got the pace for it. Both of them being on the top, well, at the very least, the second step of the podium, if not the top step, in Division 1 multiple times. I think the two are most certainly capable of doing that. Fred and Yeti have just been performing incredibly this season.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. From an Alpine driver's perspective, it's been great to have them on board because especially practicing and everything, they've been pretty up to par with race pace, and it's really good to see their growth, especially Yeti. Yeti last year was pretty much nowhere as far as Div 1 pace, and now he's competing at the front of the field, which is just great to see. And Prid has just been on a continuous, you know, path of improvement. So both drivers have just been tremendous, and I'm really excited to see where they're going to go and how they're going to do next year, as well as race against them.
Yeah. What is interesting though is that a lot of drivers are kind of wanting to switch teams. From what I've heard, Henny is wanting to switch over to Red Bull, despite being a certified Pierre Gasly simp. He's wanting to switch over to the main team.
Yeah, he's a Pierre Gasly simp, and if he's going to follow in Pierre Gasly's footsteps, that's probably not a great move, is it?
Yeah, because I mean, if you do follow Pierre Gasly's footsteps into Red Bull, then that means you're going to get bodied and replaced in another 6 months.
Correct. Correct. The summer break is not going to treat him well.
And apparently,
Anyways, though.
oh yeah, someone has asked where I'm going next season. I mean, I am an AlphaTauri this season as a Div 3 driver. I think I've been doing solid. I honestly have no idea where I'm gonna go. Though I do have a choice. I'd like to be out of the Alpine seat, and I just don't want to be on any Italian team. It's not that I think rooting for the Italians is bad. I just think rooting for the Italians is bad in F1. You're just gonna be disappointed. But we're not going to be disappointed with this race restart, as we're going to be getting underway. Zeech is going to be leading them off. Can he make a good getaway on No Limit? I don't know, because No Limit's keeping close behind, but Zeech does get a decent jump off. No Limit is still keeping right behind. Phil already makes an overtake on Dan, because he made his way into the pits. But thus far, we have no overtakes. I stand corrected. There's Kermit looking around the outside of his teammate. Man just put himself ahead. Meanwhile, Night March are doing the same on Curly up in the 10th. And at the same time,
BRT Arrow scan by as well.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive but brilliant move. But No Limit is going to take the fight to Zeech. Here he comes on the inside line. Can he put himself ahead by turn 5? No, he can't. He's going to remain behind. But DK, he was considering fighting back against Arrows, but Arrows just went way later than he could hope to, and just kept himself ahead. But you can see he's massively closing the gap in Sector 2. Is he going to go for a dive? No, he's not, but he's looking around the outside, perhaps. Look at the pace that he's showing right now. He's already bringing the fight towards his front runners. And he gets such a... Oh, wow. Frid just had a struggle of an exit and just tried to get out of the way of Arrows. He's just flying through. Really living up to his name. He is shooting through the competition right now. And he's coming up quick on the Ferrari of Kirito. Kirito doesn't even try to fight him. He just backs out. He does not want to get involved in that.
Yeah, now No Limit is next on the list. No Limit, I'll tell you what, I know he's about to get overtaken by Arrows, but I'm really impressed with No Limit, how close he was able to follow Zeech and how close he braked right behind Zeech as well. That's really brave stuff. But you can see Zeech is just expanding the gap just a little bit. Now it's closing once again.
Yeah, Arrows.
Fred looking for a move on Kirito. Is Prit gonna get it done? He sent it down the inside. They nearly bang wheels side by side, but it's cleanly. Prit can be hanging around the outside.
DK's joining in as well.
Just enough room.
DK's joining in as well. He may be trying to make a move, but he has to remain behind. But is he going to go for a dive? He's going to go for it. On Prit into turn 1. Can he put himself ahead of the Alpine? Cutting him off. Yes, he does. That was maybe a little bit rough, but he did complete the move.
No, that was absolutely beautiful. Just taking advantage of Prit, you know, trying to find his way around Kirito there and leaving himself vulnerable to a move from DK there. DK just set himself up for that beautifully. And here comes No Limit once again on the back of Zeech. No, just too far back.
Meanwhile, Arrow's just sitting back, waiting for a chance. He's going to look around the outside here, but no, he backs off. He's looking for any chance he can to get around these drivers. Whoa! That was absolutely terrifying. What was he going for there? Was he actually trying to do, like, a double dummy maneuver there or something? Like, a feint on the inside, go for outside instead? Like, what was that? That was absolutely terrifying.
He just completely outbraked himself. That was very sketchy, though, indeed. And he's already all over the back of No Limit once again.
Yeah, literally all over, because he's just throwing his car all over the place, looking for any chance to get alongside. But No Limit is just making that McLaren as wide as he possibly can, and Arrows just can't find a way through. No Limit's putting him in a defense worthy of Sergio Perez right now, because Arrows just can't find a way through that orange wall. But he's going to have a good run at it now, looking perhaps on the inside. No Limit is still not letting him through. Arrows, though, I think is going to go for a dive here, going into the chicane. He's looking for a chance, brakes as late as he can, going around the outside. He's going to have the inside line. Arrows is going to get ahead and into the lead as Zeech goes into the pits.
That was one of the best moves I've seen all year. No Limit having a run on Arrows. He's going to send it down the inside. No, he's just sitting back. No Arrows for a second. Seemed to have left him the space. I don't think No Limit's going to be able to catch him down the street. What a move from Arrows. He was nearly on the grass and was able to send it around the outside.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive move, but it really paid off. However, you can bet that he burned through a lot of those soft tires already, and he's going to have to inevitably stop again. Yeah, he's burned through
He's got nothing left.
Yeah, he's burned through everything he's got. And well, his soft tire is already 5 laps old. He's probably gonna have to pit in the next 1 or 2 laps, and he's gonna lose a whole lot of time for that. At this rate, I'm not sure if he's gonna win.
Yeah, if there's no safety car, I can't see him winning this race. I mean, he is gonna build about a 2-second gap. I mean, for Mage, he might be damn near 2 seconds quicker a lap. I mean, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here, but he's already built over a second in the first and second sector alone. So, hey, this could get interesting. So safety car or not, we'll see what he's got with another set of softs at the end.
Indeed. I think he can only afford to hold out for 2 more laps before he will have to pit. Because, again,
Yep,
like the soft tires just burn out so quick here. If he tries to go on until the end, he's inevitably going to get a puncture. There's no way he wouldn't.
100%. Yeah, he will not make it to the end. He'll have a puncture well before we reach the closing laps of this race. So it's these next 2-3 laps are absolutely critical for Arrows if he wants a chance at winning this race.
Yeah, meanwhile, with the rest of the field, we have everybody from 2nd to 8th all quite close to each other. 3 full teams present, McLaren, Alpine, and AlphaTauri, with 1 Ferrari kind of caught in the middle of all of it. Which one of these drivers is going to be claiming the podium? Unfortunately, for a portion of them, nearly half, they have time penalties, so that is going to be a disadvantage. But I think soon enough, you may see DK attempting to take the fight to his teammate. Either that or team owners are in play, and DK is just going to be a rear gunner here.
Yeah, really odd to see Yeti falling so far down the field today. He's had tremendous pace lately, and he hasn't had the best of luck today, and just hasn't had, the best pace. Prit, I'm quite surprised he hasn't been able to get by Kirito yet as well, but the McLarens are having a very, very good day, running 2nd and 3rd, and this very well could be a McLaren 1-2 as BRT Arrows is not able to extend that gap.
Yeah, it's always nice to see McLaren doing well for the most part, unless it's 2007, but we don't talk about that. But, yeah, did you know that in 2007, Kimi Raikkonen beat Lewis Hamilton in the same machinery?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Never would have known.
Spygate! Anyways, DK is gonna run after DK. Well, DK is running after No Limit, that is. He's gonna look for a chance to perhaps make a move going on to. Well, he could actually go for it right now, really, if he gets a good enough exit, but looks like No Limit beats him out on that. I wonder if DK is actually gonna fight his teammate here. If so, I mean, it could turn out pretty badly, but actually, speaking of No Limit, he's actually keeping a relatively even gap to Arrows. He's doing really well to keep up the pace with him.
Yeah, if DK wants to be able to keep P2, he's gonna have to make it another 6 laps on those mediums. So with that said, his best bet is to just stay within DRS of his teammate up front. Just keep up. Don't try to overtake him. Just let his teammate do his thing. And look at that. No Limit is 6/10 behind Arrows.
I think Arrows may have had trouble getting through Urush. Probably lost a bit of grip and had to let off the throttle a whole lot in order to maintain control of the car. That's what I'm assuming at the very least, because that's the only way he could have lost so much speed and momentum.
No, those tires.
Oh, he loses the car! Yup, that's it. He probably has some rear wing damage as well. Oh, that is unfortunate. And well, he's gonna have to pit as well. So, yeah, Arrows is practically done at this point. He's gonna be lucky if he finishes in the points.
That is quite the change of events. And here we go. The race is on for the win now. DK, No Limits. Will it be gloves off for the win between the 2 McLaren guys? DK on the faster tires at the moment. Those mediums are going to start to fall off at any moment. And Kirito is, hey, he's close behind. He's still within DRS range. These McLarens can't afford to mess around.
DK just might.
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, that might trigger a safety car. It very well could, depending on where he's at. It is going to be a full safety car. Arrows is just breathing a sigh of relief, and everybody, I think, is going to go in. No Limit stays out, but DK chooses to go in. this is a
It's too
perfect.
late in this race. It's too late in this race. If you're a front runner, it makes no sense to pin onto a softer compound. It's hard enough to overtake down these straights as it is. It's not worth it. But DK thinks that I mean, it is a good idea to pin on the softs, and a couple people behind, and maybe they've reacted to what DK's done, and they're going to pull it on the softs as well. So now we have the top three on all on A-lap old A-lap old hards leading the way. And everybody else behind is going to be on softer, fresher rubber. This is going to get tasty. We're probably going to get about 3 or 4 laps of racing, and you never know what could happen.
Well, we do know that DRS will only be enabled in the final 2 laps. If it does get going again on about lap 19, ideally, if it does, I think it very well could get back at lap 19, and so we would have DRS for the final 2 laps, and that's about it. So really, these drivers only have the final 2 laps in the very start of the safety car restart to make some moves, unless they can really gain some pace on a few other drivers. But Arrows, wait, he dropped all the way down to 12th now? Did he just get held up in the pits? Because he was not that far back.
You know, I have no idea what just happened, but it's really not the worst idea to start at the back here. But then again, we haven't really had people, you know, collecting each other. So, I mean, it's pretty safe to race Div 2 at the moment. I'm really not sure how he ended up back there, but he is going to have some work to do.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, any hope of a victory is practically gone. He could very well still get a points finish, though, because, I mean, 4 drivers who are close ahead of him have time penalties.
Right. He will. I'd be very surprised. He would have to not finish this race to get points today, especially with his pace. We'll see what he's able to do in the restart. But yeah, from controlling this race to, you know, being all the way down in P12, it's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, what I think it's going to be interesting to see this kind of 3-way battle that No Limit, Kirito, and Prim will inevitably get into. These 3
I
have
think
been very strong. Yeah, Zeech. He can't be counted out either, honestly. But it's going to be close, really, throughout, I would say, the top 6. Because Kermit could very well get into this fight, and DK was showing he had pace on par with his teammate.
Right. Yeah, Zeech has had tremendous straight line speed, and he's on fresher rubber than those top 3. BRT Arrow's going to jump into the pit again.
Oh, I see what he's doing. Yep, this is the classic, if I'm in the back, I might as well get the freshest set of tires I possibly can strat. Yep, so he's gonna go.
Yeah, but that's gonna those softs will make it at this point. That's gonna go in and put him back on the mediums then, no?
Nope, he's got another set of soft tires.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, we did have a lobby restart. I forgot about that. So.
Yep, and that means we get all of those. Yep, and he's taking full advantage of that, which is clever.
Hey, makes sense to me. So we are going to have 4 laps of racing to go.
Ideally, wait. Looks like Night Marcher and Curly may be having some shenanigans. Oh, ooh. Night Marcher had just got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Oh, that's not good. Looks like, Phil, I think he's okay. At least he appears that way. But, I mean, under safety car, they automatically hand out harsh penalties for the slightest bit of contact. So it may have just been an accidental nudge that resulted in it.
Yeah, could be removed. We'll see.
And now Radioactive gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Phil. Is there something wrong with Phil or something?
What's Phil doing over there? What's going on?
Yeah, because now that's 2 people who've hit the back of him.
We all know how dangerous some of these guys can be under safety car.
Want to name any names?
Oops, here we go. Safety car is in this lap. We're going to have 3 more laps of racing action, or 4 actually. 4 laps of racing action to go here at Spa. And No Limit is going to lead us away.
Yeah, but he's gonna have some strong competition right behind him. He's gonna have to hold off very well. But we've already seen him do that plenty of times already. So I think No Limit could very well hold up a strong enough defense to claim victory here. But it's gonna be easier said than done.
Absolutely. We'll see what he ends up. He
Uh,
ends up going now and catches him napping. No, he doesn't. I thought he was about to go for a second. We saw a lot of people do that yesterday in the Div 1 race. But I think he is actually going to go for it now.
Yeah, but he's just gonna make that opportunity. He's gonna make a pretty good getaway, actually. Meanwhile...
Oh, somebody spun in the back. It's a Red Bull.
Oh, that's Curly just completely spun out, and his front wing is obliterated, just like his hopes of scoring points today. Meanwhile, Arrows gets ahead of Dan into 10th place.
For a second, it looked like he collected Dan and Curly Deadhead behind, but that did not happen. Phil Muster's got a penalty.
Hermit's out of the race! Oh, he lost it to Rouge! Oh, that is just unfortunate. I think he lost it at the exact same place as I think it was Emma. Yeah, he's completely out. Well, that's unfortunate for him, but the drivers are behind are certainly not going to be too concerned about that. Oh, well, I think his hopes of a podium are completely dashed, especially now that Zeech is battling him here, looking around the outside. He can't make the move, but that was certainly a bold attempt by Zeech, but it could potentially leave him vulnerable to DK behind. Meanwhile, look at Arrows. He's losing a lot of pace here. I think he does have damage on the car. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, he's losing a ton of time right now. We just can't see it, but I think he may have gotten a side pod or rear damage after smashing into the back of the wall.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I had floor damage yesterday, and that cost me about 3 to 5 tenths a lap. It was absolutely brutal around here, especially running low downforce. It's very possible. Red Bull goes well wide. They're about to go 3 wide. DK and Zeech. Radioactive as well. Nah, they're in a, for a second, the angle I was looking at looked like they were about to go 3 wide. DK's still behind Zeech over there.
DK
Zeech not able to keep up with Prit at the moment.
Yeah, DK is getting plenty of traction right now. Oh, we have the yellow flag at sector 3. It looks like it's Curly who's struggling a whole lot with traction in his tires. It's being lit up. Meanwhile, that is Nightmarker getting past Bill, and Arrow's moving up into 9th. But I don't know if he's able to hold on.
Down again. Yeah. Dan was able to get him up the inside, and then Arrows went to fight it back around the outside, but it's Dan who gets the better traction, and he's up in a P9.
Well, Dan...
Surprising to see Arrows struggling so much.
Yeah, Dan is now looking on the inside of Arrows, just pushes his way through, nearly shoving Arrows off the track, barely leaving him any space whatsoever. But Dan does get ahead. Like
Curly Deadhead's out.
He would practically shoved him off there. And, oh, that's unfortunate for Curly. He retired in the pits. I think once he realized he wasn't scoring any points, he thought, well, might as well throw in the towel early and just go to sleep or something. But
Zeech is all over the back of Fred.
Yeah, he is just maximizing his pace right now, and that's going to give him a good advantage right now. The beams are still looking pretty strong, but we're going to have DRS enabled going into the final 2 laps, and that could be the difference Zeech needs to overtake Fred. But at the same time, if Fred can keep close enough to Kirito, that DRS could be the very thing that saves him. But I don't think anything is going to save him for long. Nightmarker's out of the race, but his teammate is looking for a chance to get past Fred. These drivers are going all out, and it's costing some of them a result here. Zeech, though, is still looking at the podium, braking incredibly late. He flies through, gets a time penalty.
Yeah, Prid left just about a car's width. The stewards might have a little look at that one because he darn well squeezed him onto the grass. Zeech, once you dip a wheel onto the grass there in that heavy braking zone, it's pretty much
impossible. Yeah.
Over. Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of a move, I think Kirito might try to make one. Now that DRS is enabled, he's going to get a really good run on the McLaren. And is he going to get that rear wing open? Yes, he will. That's going to give him an advantage, but you can see No Limit weaving, trying to break that toe. And it does a good enough job that No Limit still holds on. But we still have 1 lap left to go.
Yeah, 1.5 laps to go. Kirito still has a really good shot at winning this race. Kermit is out. He is not going to be happy about his championship rival, or his rival in general, finishing on the podium.
Yeah, I can only imagine how much Kermit is coping, seething, and molding right now.
Not very well at all.
See, he's just getting such a good run around the corners. That tire grip is giving him an advantage that's just keeping him right on the heels of Fred. Fred is going to have to defend for his life if he hopes to hold on to a potential podium spot, but I think the penalties are too severe for him.
Yeah, that's gonna drop him down to about P6 or 7 if I had to guess. I think it's gonna be P6 for Prid. Just looking at the old timings, but I'm really surprised Zeech hasn't been able to get by. Prid's just been placing his car beautifully, maybe getting a little bit of archie-barchie into the bus stop chicane. But other than that, he's defended really well, and you know, fair play to Zeech as well. He's been attacking fairly, and he hasn't done anything crazy.
Fair play to Radioactive as well. He's overtaken DK and is up in the 5th place now. But Zeech is closer than he's ever been before to Prid. He's looking around the inside line. Can he get a good exit and take a hold of 3rd? Yes, he has. He's finally gotten a hold of it, and he's going to be up into 3rd place, and he's going to get a run of DRS as well. That's going to give him an advantage. But could Prid get close enough to retake that position? No! Prid gets... Oh, and that's just him completely ruined. That could have ended very badly. Wait, Arrows is going out on
the track.
Arrows is going out on intermediate tires for some reason. And meanwhile, Kirito is doing his best to get past No Limit. This is his final shot. He's gonna have to make an overtake by the end of this lap, otherwise he's gonna have to settle for 2nd today. But knowing Kirito, he's gonna send it up until the very end.
They both burned all of their eras as well. These guys are going all out for the win. Can Kirito find a way to get past No Limit? But it's not looking that way at the moment. No Limit is defended beautifully, and he is not cracked at the end of this one. And yo, keep an eye on old Zeech. Zeech, he does have a time penalty, but is he going to be able to get past Kirito on track? Because he is within 3/10 at the moment on fresher rubber.
It's very well possible, but I think at this point, the race has been decided. Well, maybe not entirely, because Phil is looking to perhaps make a move past DK, because he's getting a really good run on the McLaren. He's losing a little bit of time on the straight line, though. Meanwhile, Kirito is getting as close as he can to No Limit. Is he going to attempt a last-minute dive? He's braking as late as he can to attempt it, though, but doesn't succeed. But crossing the line after an absolutely stellar defense, No Limit is going to be able to claim victory here in Spa. Kirito taking 2nd, Zeech taking a very well-earned 3rd for just a brilliant battle throughout, holding his own against everyone. DK 4th, Radioactive 5th, Dan 6th, Bill 7th, Prid 8th, and Arrows making his way across the line on Inters. He's going to take 9th place, rounding out not only the points finishers, but the race finishers as well. We've lost nearly half the grid.
Pretty bizarre. We really thought that that BRT was going to go in and control the race here, but he's ended up all the way down in P9, and No Limit putting on a clinic once again, just showing absolute raw pacing consistency, and that's why he's one of the front runners in this championship for Div 2 and one of the better drivers in my opinion.
Indeed, No Limit really lived up to his name there, just showing the sheer defensive capability he had, and honestly, the pace that he was showing as well, able to keep up with the rest of the competition, if not even go faster than them, place his car beautifully every single time, taking a brilliant victory for McLaren. And Kirito, once again, just on the 2nd step of the podium. I can only imagine that while he was pleased with the P2, he's frustrated that he was just that close to getting that P1. He's still going to be chasing after it, though, in the next race. And well, the next race is going to be an exciting one where we head to most of the league's home turf in the USA. We're going to be heading to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. We'll be seeing you all then. I've been Mock Mage. I'll be seeing you all next time.
Yeehaw!